Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. The subject that just won't go away reared its head yet again, and of course I'm talking about the soap opera, the melodrama, the great saga that is CONOR BENN and Clomifene, female fertility drug that he failed. It's been so long, I think it was probably back in the 19th century, wasn't it, or something like that? Okay, so we know he failed the two tests. He was then banned suspended, I should say, in March 2023 because of those two failed tests. But the National Anti-Doping Panel lifted his suspension last July, and it was believed that Ben would be free to fight again in the UK. And then there was an appeal put in by UKAD, who did the test, and also the British Boxing Board of Control, and the General Secretary of that is Robert Smith. And those appeals were successful. In other words, they were okay to ban him. They were within their rights to. The board was within its right to ban Ben. Okay. So Robert Smith has said UKAD and the BBBofC were successful in their respective appeals of a decision handed down by a tribunal of the Independent National Anti-Doping Panel. In July 2023, Mr. Benn's provisional suspension was reimposed by the appeal tribunal following those successful appeals. So in other words, we're back to square one. Our appeals were successful, therefore we're re-suspending you effectively. Now, I cannot think of another issue with PEDs, with any kind of failed drug test, that's been handled so unbelievably badly as this one. And to say it's all you can really say, or if I was Eddie Hearn, if I was a part of Ben's team, promotional team and management team and so on, I would be saying at the very least, this is an unbelievably strenuous learning curve, a lesson learned the hard way, because I just can't think, like I say, of another example where this has dragged on so sort of terminably. If only Ben had, played ball with the BBBofC, the British Boxing Board of Control, handed them this great, behemoth document that supposedly proved his innocence. Remember that thing from early last year? If only he'd done this, if only he hadn't sort of run his mouth and said, basically fuck the board and, they're out to get me and it's all a conspiracy. And then he went on that cretin Piers Morgan show. And if only he hadn't done all that, if only he'd done what, say, for example, Tyson Fury or Dillian Whyte did, it was all very quietly done, swept under the carpet and, and it was all sort of secret squirrel. Be quiet, Don't run your mouth up. I mean, look at Dillian Whyte, who failed. I mean, that was a test that that was a big piece of news because he was due to fight Joshua in a rematch, and he failed a test. So what did he do? He just disappeared. He just evaporated. He's gone. He left the scene of the crime, and did his little thing quietly on his own. And then when he came back, he had a Texas license. He had that runaround fight against Christian Hammer in Ireland. In was it called Castle something? Castle Bar. I've never been there, and then he picked up a win, and I don't know what he's doing next, but he's floating around, waiting for an opportunity, waiting to see if there's a little crack in the door he can creep through, maybe get a bit of that Saudi money. All of this, everything about the whole Ben saga racks of just handling something so unbelievably badly that. Ben has probably lost. I mean, he's actually fought twice, of course, abroad since the ban. Peter Dobson, he beat him, didn't he, in a contest? That was the last one. I can't remember the name of the. Weirdly enough, the first guy he fought, the Mexican kid, he failed a drugs test after that fight. So they're all at it. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. But they're being caught. This is the thing. People say, it's rife in boxing. Absolutely. But people are being caught. This is the good thing. And there is no ultimate victory and there is no ultimate defeat. You just have to keep grinding away and trying to catch the people that are trying to cheat. But what's next for Ben? Let's say that he plays ball with the board. They give him a retrospective ban. Let's say that mean, he's 27 now. Let's say by the time he hits 28, all of the dust has settled and he's ready to move forward. I'm still 28. I've still got a lot in me. I'm in my prime now. I can do this, I can do that. It's going to be hard to shake off the image of being a drugs cheat, rightly or wrongly, because he was so vocal. He was such a, on tears and talking about, I was suicidal and all this stuff. Conor, you work hard. You're a tough kid. You've shown it in the ring. I was actually, before all this happened, I always hated the idea of him facing Eubank because I think that's a stupid gimmick fight. But I was interested in Ben. I was following his career, just like I did his father's from start to finish. But Conor, you fucked up, mate. You've done this stupidly. And it smacks of entitlement. It smacks of a rich kid, which is what you are, from a very wealthy family, from a background. I mean, no, your dad wasn't, but you were. I think he grew up in Spain, didn't he? Or Australia, Spain and Australia. He speaks fluent Spanish. And, his dad was never short of a few bob, and he didn't have to do it to box. He boxes because he loves it. That's fine. I don't mind people with silver spoons. If they work hard and they turn them into gold ones, like Eddie Hearn has done. Eddie Hearn, bloody hell, talk about coming from money. He came from money, and now he's made millions upon millions upon millions more. No problem. I don't mind, rich kids, posh kids. But when it smacks of entitlement, when, I'm so suicidal because I failed a drugs test and it's all a conspiracy and, woe is me. Like, shut the fuck up, all right? Just shut the fuck up, okay? It's not the end of the world, If you want a hard job, go work in a shop, stand up for 12 hours, listen to people's bullshit because you haven't got the correct, tea in stock or whatever the fuck it is. Work in a factory, do 4 12s in a row, for peanuts. Look at people who've got serious physical illnesses, who are suicidal because they've got some sort of issue going on. Look at any amount of people. Look in the world. Look at people who are currently being blown to bits by grade A weapons. You know what I'm talking about. You can talk about any of this stuff, and it pales what you're going through, pales it into nothing, literally nothing. You're not broke. You're not sleeping under a bush. You're not addicted to something. You're not whatever. You haven't got great mental health issues where you think you're Napoleon Bonaparte or that you can jump out of a top floor window and fly. No, you're a professional boxer who failed a drugs test. You've probably got £1 million in your back pocket. You've got a family that looks after you, which a lot of people haven't got anyone. So it's the entitlement that I think winds people up so much. It does me, as you can tell, it does me. It pisses me off, right? Play ball with the board. Get all this settled, do a little mea culpa routine, and then move on. And hope that after a few good results, if you get them, people will, just as they did with Canelo and Fury and a few others, maybe even Dillian failed. What's he failed now? Three tests. He served a ban early on in his career for an over-the-counter thing. I don't know what the hell is happening with White, but that's the point. No one knows, so no one concentrates on it. Take a page out of his book and do something like that. So that's just the latest update on Conor Benn. And if you've got anything to say, if you want to make any comments or you agree with me or disagree with me, either, leave your comments below. And of course, thank you for subscribing. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. That would be a big deal. Help us out, build the channel up, and also hit the like button as well. The like button, they count them, so I'm told. Cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I always appreciate your time, and thank you very much. Bye for now.